So, Kingy, what is your first crack?
Well, I'm going with side by side because I think the tagging situation that went on with Nick Daicos is going to rage over the next few days. The discussion where you sit on it personally and where the game should sit on it. And they're two separate discussions. I think it depends who you barrack for as to whether you've got a player that's going to be tagged like this. But I first just want to put on the radar what Nick put up with through the night. Now, a lot of this is just part of being tagged. Nothing outside of the rules. And just perfectly legal, natural, man-on-man warfare. There's some I think that the umpires could pick up, where there's a grab, a hold. I don't really love the handcuffing, the wrist locking, if you like.
That should be a free kick.
Yeah, so they're the sort of ones we're talking about that should be a free. Now, he gets natural free kicks, which everyone gets for too high, and the tackles that he laid through the course of the night. This I like. So you've got an umpire that's prepared to watch it. And as soon as he sees that hold there, he pays it. Now, they only did that twice for the night. So that to me is a real concern. These are the things that worry me. The grabbing of the hand while players are trying to run. The rubbing of the arms, trying to just twist in and out just to try and take away any power in their first 2 to 3 strides. I think it's amazing that he was able to get 30 disposals and still have 9 score involvements and kick an unbelievable goal. But I want to pay credit to Marcus Windhager at the same time. This is the controversial one here, which I've watched the whole game back just watching these two guys. 120 minutes, I've got a pretty boring life, Jay. So I decided to dedicate the Saturday night to these two dudes. Anyway, this was the only time for the night that happened. So I think we've just got to temper...
That was the only kneeing incident.
Yeah, temper the rage, and it's not a natural move that he goes to or part of his weaponry. So that's what happens when you tag Nick Daicos. You challenge the umpires to make a call. I think the umpires have got to be tougher across the board. But what I want to really highlight is what seriously good clubs do. They don't allow one player to die on the vine and die alone. They get involved as often as they can. And every time Marcus Windhager went past a Collingwood player, he was checked. And this is what Craig McRae is talking about. Jono, you and I highlighted the same thing last night, that he will open up avenues, particularly at centre bounce, and running lanes for others, and he'll drop into that sweeper role. So if you want to come with me, we're going to go and stand in a position that's going to allow others to free will. This time it's Pendlebury. Daicos gets to the back. If they look like coming out the front, he's there as a first-line defence. Sacrificial to the core. I love it. I think it sets real standards across the group that doesn't matter who you are at this footy club. Now, this is the one that ends with Pendlebury bumping him on the boundary line. Look how many players he has to work his way through as Nick jogs off. He's already been hammered 3 or 4 times, goes past Houston, he just wears another one. And they're lining up to get him. They're lining up. When's my turn? Perriman comes in, gives him one, and he gets to the boundary, and of course we've seen that one on the broadcast. Jamie Elliott went out of his way 4 or 5 times. So I love this. Just to me it says, this is our man. If you want to come after our man, you come after all of us.
It's one in, all in.
Collingwood's got it. Collingwood's worked it out as a group, and it has taken a little bit of adjustment on their part. It's taken adjustment on Nick Daicos' part in terms of what they do at centre bounce in particular as well.
So this is the part where the coach helps him. So the coach says, listen, go to full forward or go to a wing. See if we can move you out of the absolute hot spot and an easy spot to tag. So I marvel at his game. And just appreciate what he's had to go through for 120 minutes to get that return. So he is an absolute top liner. But I also give recognition to Marcus Windhager. And in a weird way, wouldn't be surprised if Ross gave him one of his coach's votes. It was such a good job, the diligence to task, and sometimes you just get beaten by good players.
But as one of St Kilda's better young players, is that the best use of him? Should Ross release Windhager, or is that the best role for him? Like in a team which is sort of, you know, trying to blood and develop and grow its young players, should he not become one of those midfielders that St Kilda requires?
Yeah, I understand your thoughts, but I think the logic is, what will this guy learn from this experience?
Right.
The running patterns, how hard you have to push, when you have to go, and when Nick goes, it's at 100%. What he's prepared to do for the team rather than his own game. He's always thinking about the team, the common cause. So then there's the overarching discussion of what we want to accept as a code. Do we want this, where you're going into stoppage, or the arm grab, or the arms around? They stamped it out early. They gave him a free kick very early. But then nothing for like 40 minutes.
If we're going to have 4 umpires, we're going to have the new system, the AFL's a firm believer in it, then that's got to be something that they've got to watch more closely. I understand before games, umpires actually talk about where there could be close attention, what some key matchups could be. So there is an awareness of this sort of stuff before the first bounce.
But 90% of it's okay from what Windhager is doing.
No,
We
I
don't have an
watched the
issue
whole
at all with
thing.
that.
It was fine.
There are the holds, there are the
There
grabs.
was the hit. There was a hit. I think he's copped a fine
He
for.
has.
Yep.
And the kneeing's an uncomfortable. That's a phone call, I think, during the week. No more of that.
I think there's a release date for Windhager as well. There will be a release date off the back of these learnings at some point. Maybe throughout this year, might be the start of next year.
To help make him become a prime ball winner. So you said, Kingy, that Nick Daicos copped a hard time from Marcus Windhager. Well, unsurprisingly, the St Kilda coach, Lyon, had a different take on it.
Oh no, we'll probably go early, look at a couple of those free kicks. I'm not sure they're free kicks. But I think we'll take that in and ask the question. Yeah. Are there 2 sets of rules going around? I'm not sure.
So Roscoe's saying that Nick's getting a hard run. That he's getting a favourable run.
Well, he'll be asking the questions around, and there were no holes, but he'll be asking about the blocks when Windhager's trying to come off the ground and the attention that he's copping back the other way, trying to play his role within the time, in the side.
Ross, please. Come on, man.
He's deflecting.
Come on, man.
It puts it on the agenda and it will be a talking point amongst clubs. And as you say, be unsurprised if the AFL speak to the clubs about this sort of stuff, particularly the kneeing, which is not a great look.